Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Delco Nerd Network Rewind review, where we sit down and review some of our favorite film franchises of the past, and even some of our favorite directors' catalogs, if you will. This time around, we're talking about none other than Mr. Christopher Nolan, going through a few of his films. Today, we are continuing on with Tenet. It's Tenet.
Say it backwards.
Tenet.
Nice.
Joining me as always is Mr. Anthony the Gooch Ragucci.
So the funny part about this is I've already done this podcast, but you guys were inverted and I was doing it normally, but now I'm going backwards from it because we already did it.
Of course.
And
So
you
it's
guys
like, but we're perceiving you as going forward.
yes.
I still don't understand.
Yes.
but
Where's your
I get
oxygen
it.
tank, dude?
Where's yours?
How are you breathing?
And returning once again, of course, Mr. Aris Tzortzatos. That was the first time
Tortilla
that
stick.
I almost said tortillas. It's okay though. That's pretty good. Aris Tortillas.
Aris tortilla, whatever makes you feel good, man.
Aris Tortillas.
Aris Tortillas, Tzortzatos. I don't know. He's here. What's up? How
This
you doing,
guy.
man?
Good,
Thanks for
man.
coming again. We
Thanks for
appreciate you
having
back
me again, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We're at the end here.
We are.
Might be my
We
last
made
one.
it.
I've already been metaphorically kicked off.
Like three
Or
times.
sarcastically kicked off. Maybe
Yeah.
might be for real. I don't know,
No,
dude.
it's
I'll
all
go
right,
hide.
Sorry, guys. I'm really
You're
dry.
hiding a lot.
Dry.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say the other phrases. Should I?
I don't know.
So, I don't know.
I'm just saying you're like, you want to hide. Like
Well,
these past
I'm
two
using that
episodes.
as
There's a theme.
substitute for
Things to say.
awkward silence. Well, I was just saying, go fuck myself. But
No, I love it. I love it. Come on.
I mean, you can say go fuck
say it.
yourself.
This is a
I'm not gonna tell you what
TVMA
to do.
podcast. I wonder if do you think we'll ever get to the point where podcasts get ratings like a video game?
I hope not.
I hope not either because
well,
it'll be
don't they
psychotic.
have explicit on?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, of
Apple?
course. I guess it's
It's
the same way
audio.
as
I'm
like
pretty sure
music,
like
yeah.
most of our podcasts are explicit.
100%.
'Cause there's
I always
there's
mark
always
it as-
one F-bomb. Oh,
Absolutely.
you have to mark it?
on what's it called? I do. Yeah, I know. I mark it explicit.
You think like somebody like sees a podcast and goes, it's explicit, I can't listen to that.
I think it's more for like parental controls. Like
Yeah.
if you have like you set on
like,
your
remember
app,
when
you
like
can't.
Eminem was like, on the CD it said explicit and you were like, fuck, I need that.
I can't buy it.
What do you mean I can't listen to Toy Soldier?
But gentlemen, we're here today to talk about I think my least favorite of these films,
Okay.
Tenet.
Fuck, we forgot.
We never-
Dunkirk. Let's do it right now.
All right,
Dunkirk,
well,
real quick.
All right, yeah. Okay,
Oh.
before I get into all this,
Okay.
I would say
You gotta put a note in that fucking
I do.
doc.
I know. I
like
I
in
did,
big letters.
Well, but what I did for the last one is that's what I did. I usually have it at the end in like parentheses, like get
Dunkirk, go.
Yeah, Dunkirk. I'd say low tier film.
I was gonna say mid-tier film. Okay.
Ooh.
Mid-tier movie.
Oh.
Anyway, let's talk
okay.
about Tenet.
All right.
What we kind of probably could have done is just done that at the end and then tagged it on to Dunkirk.
Yeah, whatever.
Either way.
Moving
Moving on.
We do it live.
Yeah, we do it live. Fuck it.
Okay, we'll do it live.
To play us out, what does that
I'll
mean?
write it and you shoot it.
What does that mean to
Fucking
play us
thing
out?
sucks.
On the air for 35 years.
Oh my god. All right, Tenet
O'Reilly.
initially released September 3rd, 2020. In the midst.
I never told my story of seeing. Oh no, we're talking
We're
about.
about-
Tenet.
I know, yeah, we're going into Tenet.
Dude, I'm all over the
That's what
place.
we're here
Sorry,
for.
sorry,
God,
sorry,
Goose,
sorry,
jeez.
sorry.
With a rating of PG-13, a production budget of $205 million, and a measly $20 million opening. And
Because
that's
of-
not because of anything
That's 'cause of
besides
COVID.
of COVID. Yeah, exactly. This was a big, and it was, I think, simultaneously released on HBO Max, which I believe
I don't know.
Christopher Nolan was very not happy about, and that's what separated his entire relationship with WB right now. He doesn't work with them anymore. It was like a big
So who
falling
was
out of this.
Oppenheimer with? Like Lionsgate?
I think Lionsgate or Paramount. I want to
it's
say
like a big one,
Yeah,
right?
they
Like
were. Someone was
legendary.
like, "Yeah, come on, Chris." So I think WB is right now really trying to mend that relationship. I don't know if it'll ever happen. There was like a recent kind of article about it, but yeah, they really fucked up.
Like, what did he expect them to do?
Hold it.
Yeah, I guess
That's what he
right?
wanted. He just wanted them to wait. Like, and I kind of get it. And also simultaneously releasing it on HBO Max, like we saw how that really did affect a lot of things, and I think it's trained a lot of people to be saying like,
Lazy.
all right, I'm gonna wait. No, I don't think lazy is the right word. I think it's just like you were trained to expect this thing, so why wouldn't you expect it? It's like, oh, why am I gonna go to the movies and spend $20 per person when I can wait 2 weeks and get it on streaming for
yeah.
$20 maybe? So it's kind of fucked. And I totally get what he was frustrated about, and it's kind of it's dumb of WB to let him go. That's all I'll say. But to continue on, a worldwide box office. So it didn't end up. I think it did end up losing money probably then of $360 million. So it obviously made over its budget, but that's not its full budget. You gotta like put in marketing and stuff like that. So probably at least a $350 budget, maybe $300 million. So yeah, probably didn't make money, which sucks. And again, I do think on top of that, it's just a confusing narrative. So we'll see.
And I did contribute to that number. I did see this movie in theaters during COVID.
I love it.
I went back to the theater. So when did it come out?
September 3rd.
September 3rd. Yeah, so I remember that was my first time back at the movies. Actually, New Mutants. When did that come out? I think
My
after?
first time back at the movies was Mortal Kombat 1 or Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, with me.
No, it was I went to see it when like the first day it opened, but like the movie fucked up. It wouldn't
Right,
start playing,
right.
and I did, and I had to
Okay,
leave.
back to the story. Yeah, so I saw this movie like, during COVID, like with like two other people in the theater. It was pretty wild. I'm not even sure what else was fucking playing that day, or if anything. I think like New Mutants probably came out around the same time as this, because that released during COVID as well. But interesting time to see a movie. I mean, like other than that, that's all I really have to say about it. But I just find it interesting. It's like, yeah, I saw this movie in theaters, like when probably like nobody else did.
No, absolutely. It's
You'll
weird
get a
how
plaque
just that
from
whole work.
Christopher Nolan, dude.
Yeah, dude. I hope he does.
He'll send you some.
Did he see that Christian Bale impression last episode? I mean,
Yeah.
like, Tom Hardy,
Top
like,
tier,
come on, man.
indeed.
I
Yeah,
can do that
Give Gooch a
ADR.
call.
Yeah.
So written and directed, of course, by Chris Nolan, and a little I did a description for the last one, didn't I?
You did not.
I fucking missed that.
I'm not gonna say it.
That sucks. Okay, here's the description. I'm sad that I missed that. That's the first time I've done that on one of these. Armed with only one word, Tenet, and fighting for the survival of the entire world, a protagonist's journey through a twilight world of international espionage on a mission that will unfold to something beyond real time. It's a little...
It's all right. I like the references of the protagonist in the Twilight and Tenet, but like he's armed with a lot more than.
It's a little high, but yeah, it's a little
He's
too
got
high.
fists, dude.
I think you can dumb that down a little bit.
John. What's his name? John. What's his middle name?
Washington, some.
David Washington.
John
yeah.
David
Yeah.
Washington's a little more armed, more with them words. Come on.
Yeah, and
Give him some credit.
I will give him just credit right off the bat of like he's fantastic in this. Like I'm having never seen him in anything before. I think I've seen him in something that he's been in since, but like
Isn't
this
he in
was
Creation?
the creator.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the main guy in that. I think he was probably in some other things, but I mean, I
Did you
don't
end
know.
up seeing that?
No, and I'm sad. I didn't end up being able to make the time, but I'll watch it when it's on streaming. Sadly, which is not helping the theaters. But yeah, I think he does a really fantastic job, just kind of being thrust into the situation. We just don't know anything about him, and yeah, he's just literally called protagonist. We never get a name. How
That's
did you
his
guys
name.
feel about that?
I like it. Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Different.
It is very different, and I mean, he really kind of commits to like these ideas of I don't know, like there's protagonists, there's antagonists, there's like a lot of the lingo in this is super specific, but overall, guys, I don't like this movie. And I'm just so confused every time I watched it by like what's supposed to be happening and how like the physics work. And they kind of try to brush it off at the beginning with when the woman's explaining to him and he's like, well, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, don't think about it too hard. I'm like, no, you're making me think about this too hard.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand how this is happening. And I don't know if it's my own fault of being so fixated on it that it's distracting me from the rest of the film. But like, I don't know, man. It just feels a little too high concept.
I was gonna say, Aris, this is your first time watching
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew what you were going into.
No, not at all. And I still don't know what I'm going into. But it's weird because like at some point I was like, man, it's almost like a time machine, right?
It's it's an
But-
inverting machine.
Yeah, it's an inverting
What,
machine.
the turnstile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, but you can't turnstile way back before any of this stuff would have started, which was weird.
I think you can go back to when a turnstile is.
You can. It's just the people in the future can only do that
Yeah.
because they're sending stuff back.
Because
You
like
can't like go forward in time with
Yeah.
like the modern day turnstile in this movie.
Yeah,
is
but
from
you
what
can
I
go back
understand.
because like at the end he goes back and sees his wife that's before. There's again a lot of time jumping in this film that I just don't think is, super well explained.
or necessary for some of it. I mean, like, you don't think she could have gone back to the yacht That's the point I was thinking of. Like, they meet up for the first time, and she explains to him the story, like, oh, blah, blah, he has my son. And then it's like, all right, well, let's just invert ourselves back to the yacht because that already happened. They're in the future.
Yeah, but then they also have to get to a turnstile.
And they don't know they exist yet at that point.
And then,
Or at least the protagonist doesn't. Other people do.
Mind.
The protagonist does not.
Yeah. It's so like tough to even know where to begin.
Grasp it.
Like, because I genuinely
like it's
just,
like there, but I don't even know how to grab it. Yeah.
Exactly. I think the idea that this guy's just kind of thrown into it, like he just so we start out, he's working for the CIA or some type of black ops organization.
Yeah, at the Kiev theater, which is a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, it's again, there's some amazing action in this.
Yeah.
Again, I just wish some of it was more readable to me. And I don't know, it starts out very strong. You're like, it builds some intrigue. You have one word, Tenet. And then he gets dropped off on like an oil tanker, I guess, to be taken back to this woman. And then it all unfolds from there.
He dies.
Right. And they like
the-
reconstructed his mouth or something, right? Because he got
Because
all
of
his
the
teeth
pill
pulled out.
and-
Yeah.
The idea is that I guess like his death enables him to go like black
Even
op,
deeper.
even
Yeah.
blacker op.
The deepest of op. Yeah.
yeah, to then set himself up to create Tenet. I mean, spoiler, but
Yeah.
that that I guess that's what they're leading to. Like, we don't know if that guy, the guy at the beginning who like debriefs him, like one word, Tenet. I like that. It's really cool. And then like I do like the finger thing because when he's talking to Priya, like in the thing, she does it when she holds the glass, and he also does it when he's holding the gun. Like, I'm like, it's interesting. Like they subtle, and then they mention the Twilight and the code word in their phrasing. I'm like, oh, interesting. But yeah, what was my point of this? Blacker op.
And yeah, I just think that maybe if they explained less, I would be more in. But like, it's just
So as a second time viewer, I almost stopped trying to figure it out.
No, and I think that's the idea.
Yeah,
I do.
you
I
have
think because
to.
like I think I grasped the whole story. This man is finding Kenneth Branagh's character, who's great, by the way.
Sater.
I think he is
Very hateable.
very hateable, very mean and terrible. But he's trying to find these 9 pieces of this algorithm, right?
Yeah.
That allows inversion to happen. That was discovered by a scientist in the future. That
Who
then
was
hit it-
compared to Oppenheimer, which
Who
is
was,
funny.
which I find was interesting.
Yeah.
I think Chris Nolan, I think he mentioned that Robert Pattinson gave him that book on set of this to read. So that is interesting. But so then he is trying to gather up all these pieces to then invert the entire world, which would then destroy the world because the future wants him to do that.
No, because so he was dying from pancreatic cancer, and if he can't have it,
No, I get that, but also like
so his death and him destroying the world doesn't seem to be a motive necessarily. It more just seems like something he can do.
Well, so I think that
Or-
is
and-
part
and
of the
the
motive, but he was given the opportunity by the people from the future because they want the past destroyed for some reason.
Because their future is shit, right?
No, because I see that's the thing that I didn't understand.
Yeah, they mentioned that the
Yeah.
future is not
They
good.
run out of food and
But they
stuff
don't-
But
like
they
that. so-
but they were saying that they don't think the people in the future don't think blowing up the past will
Get closer to your mic.
will destroy them. Thank you. Like so, at least that's what I was picking up because he's like, but wait, what about the grandfather paradox? They don't believe that. He's like, well, they don't believe that's
I love
a thing.
like when they mention things like that,
Yeah.
and then they go. I'm like, I don't turn captions on movies. I was turning
I had them
off and
on-
on captions.
I had them on the whole time.
And I'm like, dude, I gotta go back. I'm like, what did he just say? Because like in the theater, obviously I couldn't do that. And like, a lot of the conversations, I was just like, I just missed something, and I'm like totally lost. Like, what are they
Dude,
talking about?
10
Thank you
seconds,
for
10
bringing it up.
seconds,
I know
10 seconds,
we keep nailing on this drum, but the sound
No,
mixing
I-
in this is truly. I had to keep the
The
it on the whole
dialogue
time.
is so important to
And
what's
it's
going
so,
on.
like, just-
Opposite of Dunkirk, I like even like The Prestige. I think The Prestige is a pretty easy movie to follow, even if you miss some stuff. It's not like every word is like super important, but they're like throwing around names of locations and names of things and the grandfather paradox and this and that.
Like-
It's like I don't
Yeah.
really have the base for anything these people are talking about, so it's really hard to follow.
It is, and I do think like there are certain things that I'm like, okay, I understand the concept that you're trying to explain, but like, why is it being implemented here? Like, how is it like? there's just too many like what if questions, and I think he allows for too many thoughts to go off to
There's
just
too
go,
many
yeah.
ideas in this movie.
And again, I've seen him like in interviews and be like, listen, this isn't scientifically accurate. You're not supposed to like think about it in a literal term. But I'm like,
Right.
but it's hard not to, not even a literal term, but like it's like you're not supposed to think into it too hard, like we're saying. And I'm like, but it's tough.
But you're forcing me to do that. It's like it's so many loose ends with everything that they say.
And I think it's hard to, as a human who perceives time literally or linearly, it's hard to understand the narrative. And so this is how I see the movie. And if you're on video, hi, look at me. So
Look at 'em.
this is like time right now, and like this is the inversion, and this is how it is. But then it goes back, and then goes forward again, and then goes back. And like it's hard to keep
with no
track
collision. Well,
but no, I
of
thought
time moving around this like you're going back and forth, but like you're doing this because the person from the forward is now over here.
See, but
And,
I don't
like,
even think it's
hard to grasp. It's just hard to understand because we're not used to perceiving time like time happens in this movie because the characters like they invert and it's like we gotta wait until you see yourself on the other side and it's like okay and then like so like
But
I was
it
thinking about it like
and
in
they're all
the
walking
car scene.
backwards.
So like
Yeah.
he puts the algorithm piece on the side of the road, but like they pick it up, but like I'm trying to like
no, he
grasp,
throws it into his car. I thought.
right, but no, he puts
No, the one piece gets thrown out
yeah.
the side.
and yeah.
Again,
But he's doing that.
couldn't have told, like,
But
a
he's
lot.
doing that before it happens. So he puts it there, but they throw it out. Like it's
Again,
it's tough to grasp.
and that's why I don't think that's. I think like, I guess I'm just caught up on the fact of like, so wait, when you're inverted, you're going through everything and time's just reversing for you, or you
Yeah.
just have to do everything backwards.
So when you're inverted, you are,
You are backwards to the people who are
Oh, right.
normal, I
Yeah.
guess.
but like you're also fighting the forces of nature. Like she says, like you can't breathe. Like your
You need
breathing
reverse-
is
yeah.
reversed.
Reversed,
So
yeah.
you can't breathe. So you need the
reversed air.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need reversed air, and then like you're going to be
It's go
driving
reverse air.
against wind backwards. Like it's going to be difficult. Like you're not.
Well, but he's not. But that's the thing. He's driving.
backwards.
No, he's driving forward. He's driving forwards.
Oh, right, yeah,
But they're
technically.
perceiving it as backwards. But like
Backwards.
the wind's at his back. Like again, they're trying to explain this all. That she's like, when you're gonna get out there, fire's gonna be cold. Wind coming at you is gonna be going against you. This, that, and the other. And I'm like, but like, so you're traveling back in time, but like everyone else is
But
perceiving
you're
you as
meeting
not.
their time.
Yeah. So
It's kind of the best way or the easiest way for me to follow it out of all this stuff in the movie was the whole 10-minute rule between the two teams.
right,
Because they eventually met
right,
At
at
the
the same point in time.
right.
Right.
10 minutes forward, 10 minutes
So
back.
and then so it's like blue team is coming out, red team is coming
coming
in.
in.
Now blue team is going in, and red team is coming
going
out.
out from the significant point in time.
That battle, which again, I thought about it, and I remember this from the first time at the end. I'm like, you don't see the enemy combatants; they almost don't matter.
Yeah.
But the build. Remember when the tall building gets blown
Like,
up at the
and-
bottom and
and
then gets
then,
blown
yeah.
up at the top? I'm like,
Yeah, like well, like yeah, it like
Yeah.
it
I'm so-
reforms at the top and then yeah,
yeah.
it's-
I'm like, what? I'm like, I remember that, but I'm like, like why?
like again, that's what I'm like. I'm like
you just
visually,
destroyed
it's
it and then it reformed and they destroyed it again.
Man, this thing's impossible, man.
Was it because the building was destroyed? Like it's so much, but again, it's so much to comprehend, and it's so unreal. It's not how we perceive time, so it's almost like impossible to.
well,
grasp
and I
it.
don't even know if it's like the perception thing for me
I do.
specifically. It's or no, it's like it's the understanding thing. It's like the perception of like I just don't like. You're saying that the wind's at his back, but like, what do you like? How? What do you mean?
Yeah,
like I don't know. Like,
right.
and they're like your tread is gonna be backwards, so like it's gonna feel weird driving and stuff. But then they're like so, and then Kenneth Branagh goes back in time at the end of the movie.
right.
So how do you do that? You just get in it and wait there, or do you go out and then like and then go backwards?
I don't know.
so when
it's
you're inverted, you're going
backwards,
in time.
yeah.
But the world's still traveling forward.
Correct. You are
But
moving.
you can still
backwards.
go. But like then, how does he get back to the time?
Think about it when he comes through when they're in the car after Kat is like shot and inverted. Like she was already shot, like when he was threatening to shoot her, and then reverse shot her. Like and like that part is really hard to understand. But okay, so they're the plane into the art vault thing.
Yeah.
It is happening in reverse. So they're waiting for like, you know, the people are moving back and forth and they're going in and the fight has already happened.
The bullet holes are already in the glass.
Right. Yes. So now he and he like goes under the thing and then he's there. One of them is like when you first see the fight, one of them is fighting forward, one of them is fighting backwards.
But
like,
there are
you can even see
scenes,
it's so
the
weird.
scene where he's like
oh yeah, crawling.
Yeah.
But like not really.
Yeah, it's like reverse
'cause
crawling.
in reverse and forward, that scene is weird.
Dude,
because I guess
is.
he's crawling in reverse, but then but he's also being perceived as crawling in reverse. Like when it's forward?
Forward, yeah.
So, and to think about that fight, like he then goes into the turnstile and then comes back out.
That's the thing. So he's uninverted after that, right?
And you see him twice.
Yeah.
There's 3 protagonists in the same room.
Yeah.
Because he's like, what happened to the other guy? He got away.
Yeah.
And because he didn't want to like, you know, break the
Time, yeah.
No, I don't think it would just confuse them.
Well,
because he didn't understand it yet.
And the whole thing.
And he does because he's
Yeah.
from the future.
Yes, absolutely. And I think
Neil.
there's a big question here. Who, by the way, our Pats. Come on, kill me.
I want to get into Robert
absolutely.
Pattinson in a minute.
I lost my train of thought. What was it?
Time.
What were we talking about? Time.
Time.
Time and
The temporal pincer move. The temporal podcast.
Say what you want to say about our Pats. I forgot.
So this was the movie. It was announced that Pattinson was going to be Batman.
After it was while it was like being put out. Yeah.
Yeah, and because like I saw this and I was like, okay, yeah,
I see it. Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
And because like I still haven't watched Lighthouse. That and like
still haven't
Robert
either.
Pattinson
Good
was,
Time's another
was
great one with him.
really being seen in a different light, like for the first time, other than Twilight. He was doing some films, but I think like he is now divorced from those movies.
Have you ever watched his interviews about them? He like shits all over them in the interviews.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, he's like, I don't know who the fuck wrote this. Like a baby falls in love with a wolf. What? And he's genuinely. It's so
Just a
fun. I was
big,
like,
fluffy
oh,
dog.
he was cool back then too.
Yeah.
Like the fucking ass.
Yeah, but like. You know, so like watching this movie, I'm like, dude, his acting is great.
He's
like,
fantastic.
He's really good. I wonder if it's hard to work with a script like this. Like I think about it almost like Death Stranding with Kojima and like Mads Mikkelsen being like, I don't even know what I'm doing right now.
There was
It's
apparently like
you
a
probably
ton of
don't even
secrecy too.
Know
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Like when you're talking about this, especially at the end with and then what's his face, Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Right.
Yeah, he's Quicksilver.
He's in a few
okay.
other things too. He's in
Yeah.
like a King Kong and stuff.
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Oh, Godzilla. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I think like I love Chris Nolan and his high concepts, and I think like this does feel like a James Bond kind of thriller mixed with some weird time travel elements.
Yeah.
And I liked it in principle, but like I feel like he watched that scene from Memento and was like, "That's a movie. I don't know how I'm gonna make this happen, but we're gonna do it."
will.
And I know we mentioned that before. He did like he was of course inspired from that, but like I feel like he just gets like, I just gotta really.
He
think
kind of
about
takes
it.
Memento and really like goes balls to the wall with it.
I just think, and like the whole talk about like it, he doesn't say obviously it reverses time, it reverses entropy. So it's like,
Which makes me think like, and if you think about it, when they go back to the whole airplane crash and the scene and stuff like that, like, are they stuck in a loop now because they really didn't stretch on like the grandfather paradox?
well, and that was it. Thank you for reminding me. I was talking. That's another big question of like, what if our past is like, I don't think if something happens in our past, it affects our future. But like that is the whole point of the grandfather paradox. For those who don't know the grandfather paradox, it's explained very well in this movie, and also in a fantastic Futurama episode where Fry actually goes back and kills his grandfather and then becomes his own grandfather. But the idea is it's an amazing one. It's so good.
Oh man.
If you were to have the ability to time travel and you went back in time and killed your grandfather, how would you ever be born to then to go back in time and kill your grandfather?
Grandfather, yeah.
And they're talking about like that's where I'm confused on like what the future wants, because the future is enabling him to destroy the past for some reason. But and then Arpats goes Seder. Arpats
Sader's being enabled to destroy the past.
Yes, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but then
Insane.
Arpats exactly. Yeah, he's talking about like he's like, so if nothing does affect the past, it doesn't affect the future, right? He's like, well, the future obviously doesn't think so because they're giving him the ability
to
to
it.
do this.
Right, and I'm doing that because you told me to.
Exactly.
He's not telling him that yet, but he's like, he recruited you. You did.
Yeah,
you
that
fucker.
was a great.
Yeah.
Again, there's some like more base level things in here where I'm like, this is a great movie, but it's just so bogged down in the technicalities of it.
And the Michael Caine scene where he's talking about that explosion in that Russian secret city. It's like, that attack is going on like at the beginning of the movie, and it's already happened. While we're going through the movie, and like when he kills Priya at the end, like she's like confused as to why he's here because it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it kind of wraps around. Obviously, like we said, protagonist is the leader of Tenet. He recruited Arpats, like we said, and there's a good little kind of tying of the bow in that end. But like again, I'm just so
Kind of reminds me of Terminator with like Kyle Reese being sent back in time to make sure John Connor
definitely elements.
Yeah.
I would agree,
becomes
100%.
the leader of the resistance. And it's same with T2.
Yeah, again, I like Chris Nolan. I said this before, and I do think he is my favorite director just based off of how many of his films I love. But just rein it in a bit. I don't know.
Put down the weed, man.
Yeah. So, was there anything else that stuck out to you being the first time you saw it? Because I saw this before, but I didn't finish it. It was on an airplane. That was another thing. I was like, maybe this wasn't the right environment. Maybe I just need to like watch
not.
this
Yeah.
again.
Not an airplane watch.
But I still felt the same.
Did you watch Dunkirk or Tenet on a flight or no?
No. All right. So I came back and watched them
As I was
because
gonna-
I couldn't download for some reason. Like your phone says it has signal, but it
it
anyway,
doesn't.
that's besides.
Yeah,
sorry.
I was just curious because that would have been a tough one.
Next episode, Vegas stories. We'll work on that. But no. So I saw this at home, but like,
Cool.
I was like, if I had more time, I'd probably Tenet. Like out of all these movies, Tenet is something I would definitely have to watch.
I was going to say I wanted to look up
Here's
something.
the
More
issue with
than
Tenet.
once.
As somebody who's watched it, I think you need to rewatch it like twice a month to remember. Because like I
Fucking kill me if I'm watching this twice.
Homework.
I forgot a lot. Like obviously I remember how it ended, so like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like but I'm like I forgot a lot about it. But I'm like I think this is a movie you would have to watch like in succession in a short amount of time to kind of remember what's going on and grasp everything. Like it's a tough one.
I'd rather watch an explainer video.
Yeah.
I need to watch it once, then watch some explanation on YouTube, then watch it again, and then grasp it a little bit more, then probably watch another video on YouTube and then watch it again. But I interrupted you.
No, I'm just saying, like, there was just so much that, like, you were thinking about, and how you said, like, oh, you're not supposed to think about it with Christopher Nolan. But, dude, like, how? How are you not, Like, my whole thing is I still think they're stuck in a loop, but, like, again, that's wrong. Because,
They kind of are, right?
Yeah.
Because he says you're in the middle of it, right? That's what Arpat says.
Yeah, and this is just the beginning of the story for you, but it's the end for me.
For our story,
yeah,
for
when
you,
they split up the algorithm. So the algorithm gets split up again, and then it'll go back together again. Like, that, I don't know. That's what I thought, but... I mean, it wasn't a bad movie.
I think Dunkirk is actually a worse movie because I think it doesn't execute its idea. Like, I think Dunkirk is a fine movie. I like on Letterboxd, I gave it like 3 stars because I don't really think it's that.
You gave it 3.5.
It's a war movie.
No, Tenet I gave 3.5.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh,
Dunkirk I gave 3.
my apologies.
Yeah, because and that's why I gave it a middle movie because I'm like, this isn't a war film like Saving Private Ryan is, or like Letters to Iwo Jima. This is like a much different kind of war movie, and like I'm like grasping it like that, but I'm like, again, like it's not like, would I rewatch Dunkirk? No, there's really no reason for me to do that. It's not like Saving Private Ryan where the characters and the storyline is really gripping. Like I wasn't gripped by the storyline of Dunkirk. The tension is there, but like Tenet executes its idea better. Is it confusing as hell to watch? Yeah. Is it interesting and like entertaining? I think so.
Sure.
I'm entertained, like, cause like I like you. It's hard to be like I'm like not shutting my brain off, even though I probably should. And I'm really just trying to grasp the movie, and I think I have a good time doing that.
Sure.
But at the same time, like I'm trying to understand, but not understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too
much for me.
It's a lot.
I don't know. I would
dude.
watch this. I would watch Dunkirk 1,000 more times before I watch this movie, just because like I don't find it to be well executed because I am so caught up in it, like so much of like I don't understand what's happening in front of me on screen. That's a problem.
Yeah. I think Dunkirk is more of like a painting. You look at it and you can see the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Tenet is the the 3-sided thing, but like you can get caught between 2 frames, kind of. You know what I'm talking about? Those
dude,
little
that's
holographic.
excellent. I love it.
see,
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Because they're interweaving, and you're like, what the fuck?
What's
and then
happening?
You're like, all right, there's one clear picture, but wait a minute. And
Well,
it's like,
and I think you're speaking to what normally his movies more are usually like in
Right.
general. And I think that's why. But like, I don't know. I think
this
Dunkirk
one's the
executes it
in-between
way
frames.
like it's a war movie. It executes that to a T, and it's well done. This, it's like a sci-fi thriller spy movie that I'm just so annoyed and frustrated by. Like,
annoyed, really?
I
You're
really
annoyed?
was. I was so frustrated because I'm just like, I don't understand at all what you're talking about. I don't understand what's happening in this action scene. It's just 2 cars driving and one's supposed to be in reverse. Ooh, that car flipped out of being flipped. That's really cool. But like,
Cool trailer shot.
cool trailer shot,
It
great
was in the
stuff.
trailer.
And I think that's amazing. But like, I don't know. I'm just sitting there getting just like annoyed about like certain things. But then overall, there's certain things that I really do like. I don't know. There was one more thing I was going to say, but I lost it in my frustration.
I'm kind of thinking about like, you know, I would like, I don't know if you're gonna go watch Oppenheimer because we all did these, but it would probably be a nice movie to watch because I think you're getting like a really good Nolan film, but he's not being too Nolan about it. I'm curious what he does next because like I would rather see an Oppenheimer, Dunkirk, prestige-ish movie.
Yeah.
I don't think I need another Tenet. Obviously he's not going to do a DC character ever again. That Batman was a one and done thing. I don't
No,
think
I appreciate. Yeah, he did what he was doing there, and he stepped away.
Right. But like I don't think I need him to do another Tenet type movie. Actually, I was thinking about it. He's never really done a sequel besides Dark Knight. I think a Tenet sequel would be kind of cool.
Well, I was going to say,
Definitely
Tenet
sets it
sequel
up
maybe
self.
explains it.
For more, yeah.
But then again, do you really want to like go into your, because with a sequel, like any sequel,
lot of baggage.
You need to now explain your world probably a little bit more than you were.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, like, okay, like what does the future look like? Because there is more story. I mean, we're pretty much told that.
Or he can fuck you up again for a second movie. I mean,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and then like, you know, and like it's funny because it's very funny.
what if Tenet was the sequel?
Well, that's what I mean. The sequel would be the
kinda
second
is.
half of this. The sequel would be the setup that he would have to do after this when he meets R. Pats and recruits him.
I don't
There you
know.
go.
I'm pretty sure we haven't, and I'm confident we haven't. I'm surprised we have not brought up Inception like once. Because it is like, I feel like the movie, but like obviously the Dark Knight
Closest to
trilogy.
this, I would agree.
But like
yeah.
Inception really got Nolan off the ground, like after Begins, right?
I feel like it really kind of more cemented his style in a way, for
'cause,
sure.
like that
yeah.
movie was so popular and everyone was seeing it, and like I'm glad we kept it off this because I feel like it is one of those movies that we can put on another list, like because it is like Nolan's like probably like magnum opus. I would say like probably one of his best films, and I haven't seen it in a while. But anyway,
People have turned on that one a lot.
really,
Yeah, like in the way of like, they're like, this doesn't actually make any sense.
Because like I think Inception is like Tenet, but way more easily to digest and chew on.
100%.
Yeah.
I think, and
Like the dream within a dream thing is like, it's confusing, but it's not that confusing.
my favorite example to always bring it back to, and it's a classic, Jurassic Park. Guess what? We found a mosquito in some amber. We took some blood out of it,
You guys think I'm dinosaurs?
and we made a dinosaur out of it. We took its DNA, and I'm like, okay, cool. You gave me perfect amount of information.
I
It's
can live with
plausible
it,
enough.
yeah.
I'll go with it.
Right, I'll have
with
fun.
this, it, like
Give
it
me a
was like
Crunch Bar.
it's the Tenet feels like if they were in Jurassic Park and they were like, well, what we did is we found a mosquito encased in a stomach,
back in time.
ambered stomach, and went back in time, and then blah, blah, and like I'm just like, all right, whoa, like,
Yeah.
let's just rein it.
Yeah, let's just dig up the
Easy.
Yeah,
Go on.
I shouldn't say annoyed as in this whole time.
That's a giant shit.
I was annoyed that I was confused. That is a
Huge shit.
I was just annoyed at being confused, and that's. But at the same time, though, I did grasp the overall story.
I thought about it in terms of like Death Stranding, because I feel like
Sure.
these are. I know Aris is a bit above your head.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't really know this
Sorry,
stuff, man.
keep your hat on, man.
Yeah.
Keep your hat on. Do you what do you think is more confusing or more enjoyable, Death Stranding or Tenet? Because I know
I'd
you
say
want-
they're, but I'd
like
say
I don't think you have
Death
a
Stra-
negative opinion on Death Stranding.
No,
but I know
don't know.
some
Maybe
of
it's
it,
like I don't know, because they are such different mediums. Like the way you experience that, I feel like makes it a little bit better, and you can kind of dive in Death Stranding.
yeah.
You have just so much more time with it to like dive into things, and like you have the menus and you have a little bit more lore building. Like, and I don't think it's as high as I don't think it's as confusing as a concept, actually, Death Stranding. In the
Yeah,
way of
I
how
agree.
mechanically it works and how good of a job they do at explaining it while not, again,
But at the
Jurassic Park
end,
effect.
when you're talking to Amelie and like the extinction entity stuff, it's like it
That's when it
reminds me
does,
of
yeah.
that exposition where you're just like hearing things and
that
you're like,
definitely went,
what?
yeah.
Yeah, like again, like that conversation that Michael Caine has with the protagonist is like, what the fuck did they just talk
That's
about?
the thing, like,
And who is this?
Yeah, yeah.
Who are you? To what? Like, and I still don't really understand. Like, he's just like some sort of like informant dude. Like, that's it. Like, he doesn't really have any other sort of role.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's a ton of characters like that. Even like, I've been meaning to bring this up. Like when they first explain like the inverted items, and it's like, we're studying a wall with bullets in it, and it's really like, okay, like, and she's like, and he just holds his hand over and he's like, nothing's happening, and it's like, no, actually, like, drop the bullet, and it like does it, and I'm like, oh, okay, easy to understand with a simple dropping of a bullet or like the shooting of a bullet.
Yeah.
But once it's people and
cars and just
like other things, like it's
The whole
harder.
world.
And then they're like, well, if you reverse the world, it destroys everything. It's like, but why? Like,
Right.
I understand that because it's like it's kind of like antimatter, like it's
Yeah, I
like negative
guess.
energy, just kind of like.
And then they talk about different like universes, right? At
expelled.
some point, I feel like is that brought up or like like parallel because John
he
David
did
Washington and
mention
Art Pats
it,
have like a slight conversation. He's like, I'm actually a nuclear engineer or something. He's like, oh, well, that's convenient. But he's like, I actually understand all these concepts. That's when they go into the grandfather paradox and everything. But yeah, I don't know, a little just too high concept. Anything else on the review side, gentlemen?
Where would you rate it? Tough one, I think.
High tier I'm between mid and high tier movie because
Okay.
I do think like for all in all it's worth. I understood the broad story. It's just the minutia of why it's happening that I'm not fully
Right.
grasping.
Fair.
that-
I think I like this movie the most. I mean, like, I'm not sure where you are.
Nah, so I guess
Mid
only
tier,
because
high tier movie. I'll stop
okay.
there.
Yeah, for me, I guess it's low tier movie. Like you should watch it, but like I don't know, maybe because it was my first time, so I'm a little fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm not the same.
I mean, and I will say I remember broadly what was in it. Yeah.
up now.
What's happening?
I would say low tier film.
All right.
I think this movie does have a film quality that Dunkirk does not have. And I think that's because of Dunkirk's scope and scale.
And so I think it's just so much. It's definitely a more, and I keep using this. Forgive me, high concept than like
mean,
just a
yeah.
war movie. Like it's just a
Right.
That's a very straightforward film. You can't get more straightforward than that. And he does, of course, try and break it up in the ways we talked about in our review. But yeah, I agree, 100%. Anything else, gentlemen, on the review side? Let's get some fun facts.
Did we forget anything this time?
Abs-
Hopefully not.
I mean,
you did the bio.
I
we
did the bio.
reviews, we're
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So we're all good.
I won't forget the outro.
Yeah.
You want
it's
to
all
talk
right.
about your girl in the movie or no?
Oh, Elizabeth Debicki? I
Yeah.
mean, she's just tall,
Oh,
man.
actually, I do want to talk about her. I didn't give a fucking flying fuck about her and her son. Why does he
Yeah,
care so
I know.
much?
Yeah, the whole world
and
is
he's
ending.
Like, yeah, and I don't know. That just really, that was one that actually did annoy me. I'm like, why does he care
She
this
was
much?
like the plebeian, not object.
I guess the reason
the
why-
the plebeian like stand-in, like she's like just a civilian. She's
Yeah,
not involved in
and,
this,
like-
but she's like mixed up in it, and like you kind of see how Sater is a fuck through
yeah,
her.
for sure. And I
And
get that
dude,
she's his
again,
way
like,
in.
Very easy to hate him.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Maybe
didn't
she's
care
the
about
reason
her.
why that he's fucking doing all this
Yeah,
shit. You
I don't
know?
know. Maybe it's
Jesus.
just
It's
wild.
It's like, man, dude, we've all been heartbroken, you know?
Yeah,
Just
who-
let it go,
just let it go.
dude.
It's-
Let it go. Go
Time
on.
heals all wounds.
I feel
guys.
bad for this kid.
Absolutely. Yeah, the kid really doesn't get much, and the dad's like, yeah, I'm going to kill the world with my kid in it. I don't care. Like, he is truly psychotic.
Fuck him.
Fuck him. Who cares? All right, gentlemen. Moving on to some fun facts. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I'm a bit hoarse today. Throughout the film, the color red is used to indicate time moving forward, and the color blue is used to indicate time inversion. This is a reference to the Doppler effect, by which bodies of light traveling away from Earth appear as red light, waves stretch outwards, redshift, and bodies of light traveling towards Earth appear blue, and because they are compressed together.
You can also tell it through the music. Some
Yeah.
of the music is reversed. Hans Zimmer isn't used in this. The music is actually pretty good because it does like when like even in the Kiev scene, like there is music being played backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when the inversion comes into it. I gotta listen to the score because it's probably pretty interesting. But yeah, I thought the music was like well used.
I agree. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
Different composer. I think it was like you know whose name it reminded me of? The dude who does Mandalorian. It's like that kind of like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't remember
like
his name.
Norwegian looking name. Anyway.
No, I
Foreign.
gotcha.
Yeah, foreign.
Yeah.
The shot of the building simultaneously imploding and exploding during the final temporal pincer battle scene was
That's
filmed.
such a cool name.
I do
the
like that,
temporal
yeah.
pincer movement. They've already been debriefed. We're being debriefed.
Exactly. It's so good. That happened during the final pincer battle scene was filmed almost entirely in camera. The production team built some large scale miniatures, 2 buildings that were 1/3 the scale, then blew up the top of one and the bottom of the other, and then they matched the camera angles and composited the shots together in post.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, visual effects were obviously used to touch up, which you could see here and there, but you can, again, just very much tell that he's like, let's just keep it all in camera as much as possible. And I do,
as his MO has been.
and that has been it. Yeah, so it's really cool to see him continue on that. And again, the film looks fantastic, like you said. So I cannot ever fault him there. The film shares a scene with the James Bond short story The Hildebrand Rarity, written by Ian Fleming and first published in 1960. In both this movie and the story, a wealthy and cruel yacht owner seeks to discipline his wife with a whip. In the story, the husband uses the tail of a stingray, while the film uses a belt. The director, Christopher Nolan, is a large admirer. Large, it's not really the correct word. A big admirer of the James Bond franchise. And you were talking about what does he do after this, man? If he could get in there,
yeah, there've been some rumors that he wants to do Bond. Honestly,
and it does line up very well.
The villain and like the themes and the fanciness of Tenet do remind me of Bond.
For sure, it feels very much inspired by
that part where they go up the building, that like launch thing, very Bond.
So was that launched or were they inverted? They weren't inverted, right? Okay, they just got launched.
They have like a whole like harness gear on their back.
Yeah, I did notice that.
They're being launched up, and I don't really understand the mechanics of it.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
It's a little bit confusing. The cast had to learn how to choreograph their scenes and speak backwards in certain parts of the movie. Kenneth Branagh had to do this at certain points, even with his Russian accent. So they're actually speaking backwards and walking backwards and things like that. Apparently, things like that. Which I guess it makes sense. How else do you do that in camera with someone that's moving forward and backwards? But it must be just so weird to like choreograph and like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's so unnatural.
Try to figure out. Yeah, I don't know. And a final parting one here for us, gentlemen. Apart from several of the film's lead actors, the final battle sequence involved an entire stunt team of hundreds of extras. Given the demands of the action, as well as very hot temperatures, there was one prerequisite to the background players. They were all required to be ex-military. This was put into place because the stunt team knew that the extras were going to be in full military fatigues with guns and gear for 10 hours plus per day in desert heat. Adding to the task, they'd be running over hilly terrain littered with rocks and concrete, carefully placed detonations going off. So this was probably fucking wild.
It was a temporal pincer move.
It was, for sure. And I'm sure it was wild to film and all that stuff. And I can't imagine being the actors like you're in all that gear and stuff. Because, yeah, they definitely have it on and everything. Sweating and dying. I can't imagine. I mean, I sweat in here. Oh, God only knows. But I think that does it for us, gentlemen. That wraps us up for our Christopher Nolan series of Rewind reviews. Thank you all so much for joining us. Gooch is, of course, going to lead us out, but we always appreciate you guys coming along for these. This one has been a lot of fun. Aris, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, man. It's been really cool. It's been nice to get you on for a streak because like we said at the beginning, it had been since Snyder Cut that we'd have you on, and we were. I think like in our beginning days, you were kind of coming on pretty
somewhat frequently,
regularly.
Well,
maybe like once or twice a year.
It all started with the
BVS one.
beef, dude.
The beef.
Yeah, I mean,
the beef is
the beef is cooking.
I feel like over time that argument has argument for BV has gotten better. It's gotten better.
Like fine wine. Like fine wine. But
BVS has aged like a fine Chianti.
I will stand by to this day that the extended edition of that movie would have gotten much different reviews. It's only 15 minutes of shit in that, but it makes things make sense. Anyways. Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Gooch.
Please. No, Aris, we appreciate you for being on. Hopefully we can get you on for like a normal review and we don't have to
get you in here.
Have
put you on the hourly. Yeah.
How long? So when did we start? When did we finish?
We started like September, right?
We started talking about this in like July.
Yeah, but like I don't think we started filming till September.
I would say end of August.
Maybe end of August.
End of August. Yeah. But anyway, yes. If you've been watching live on twitch.tv/Delco Network, we greatly appreciate it. We usually stream our podcast there. So if you're interested in catching us follow us. You can catch this podcast anywhere podcasts are found, including youtube.com/Delco Nerd Network and your favorite podcast services, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the works. If you listen to it, we're probably on it. You can find us on Facebook.com/Delco Nerd Network. Also Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and TikTok at Delco Nerds. You can also join our Discord on our website, www.delconerdnetwork.com. It's also in the description of this podcast, wherever you are at. We hope to see you in there. Any comments, questions, concerns, anything for the good of the group, please, delconerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to hear what you have to say. Guys, my name is Anthony Ragucci. For Trio, for Aris, we'll see you next time. Stay nerdy.
Follow the boys.
Thanks, everyone.
Right.